In a matter of weeks, we have restored America's pride, America's confidence, and America's spirit. According to a brand new poll from Rasmussen, the number of Americans who believe we are on the right track now exceeds the number who think we're on the wrong track. This is the first time in 23 years. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, that was President Trump speaking at CPAC earlier today. He's right that Rasmussen's data is hard to believe. Much more reliable polls released this week show Trump's popularity is tanking. Both the CNN and the Washington Post Ipsos polls found Trump's approval rating is in the mid-40s, a little more than a month into his second stint in the White House. Joining me now, Andrew Bates, former White House senior deputy press secretary in the Biden administration, and Jennifer Horn, former New Hampshire Republican Party chair, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, and host of Is It Just Me or Have We All Lost Our Minds podcast. Thank you both very much for coming to the Saturday show. So, Andrew, I know that your big thing is President Trump promised that prices would go down, inflation would go down on day one. And yet that has not happened. And in fact, the CNN poll that we were just mentioning also finds that a majority of U.S. adults want him to do more. 62% say prices haven't been reduced far enough. Gee, Andrew, why haven't prices come down?
It's a very good point. The thing is, he told everyone in the country that on day one, inflation would end. And we are well past that. In fact, under him, it's going up. And you're talking about polls. His own pollster has done data on swing districts in the House. And they show that a majority of people are very concerned about their own financial situation. And that's because the everyday costs that he promised to lower are going up on account of his tariff taxes. He is actively raising costs himself so that he can turn around and use the revenue from those tariff taxes to cut taxes for the rich. And those tariff taxes are why consumer sentiment, which I would argue is the most important form of poll we have right now, keeps plunging because people are feeling that. They are wondering, where the hell are the 2019 costs that I was promised? I just see you cutting taxes for the wealthy.
You know, and to your point, Reuters reports that consumer confidence hit a 7-month low in February over fears of inflation and reciprocal tariffs. Jennifer, are you hearing rumblings there in the great state of New Hampshire about the fact that prices haven't come down, in fact, inflation's going up, or even about the wrecking ball that the president and First Buddy Elon Musk are heaving through the federal government?
Yeah, well, at the moment, I'm down here. We're in the great state of Florida under the leadership of Ron DeSantis. And I'm hearing a lot of rumblings amongst the folks down here about the lack of action, the lack of progress on promises made by this president. You know, what we see happening with Elon Musk and the authority that he is being given by this president, the actions that he's taken, the recklessness and the dangerous approach that he is taking with his so-called, you know, efforts to eliminate waste and corruption in this country is so concerning. It is so highly concerning. And as you showed that clip right now of, you know, the mute president nodding his chin up and down like a bobblehead at a ballpark, for God's sake, while Elon Musk is taking charge of this government, talking to the press from the Oval Office, people are being hurt and our country is being put in real danger. Whether you're looking at the firing of folks working, you know, on nuclear weapons or, you know, the Department of Education, Health and Human Services, all of these different things that are happening. It's dangerous, and I think that the American people are starting to notice it.
Jennifer, let me stick with you because I want to play for everyone. I know you're in Florida, but you're the former chair of the New Hampshire Republican Party, and there was a very interesting back and forth between President Trump and the governor of Maine. Watch this.
Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal law.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
And just to be clear, that was the president and the governor of Maine going back and forth over what he says is the governor ignoring his executive order on transgender athletes. Jennifer, you are fired up over that exchange. Why?
Well, for a lot of reasons. First of all, we know that the one thing Donald Trump hates most in the world is a strong woman leader who doesn't back down and has the nerve to question him, especially in public. But more importantly, that exchange is a crystal clear snapshot of what is so dangerous about Donald Trump right now when he says, we are the federal law. We are not. Donald Trump is not. But he is functioning and leading, trying to lead as if he is. And the idea that the executive office, that the president of the United States has unguarded, unlimited authority or decision-making power without guardrail and that he can declare himself that he is the federal government. That is the absolute definition of a dictator. And I think it is so important for people to understand this because we are in a moment right now where the American people we are at a moment where we are standing at a precipice. And it is we, the people, who are going to decide whether or not the president of the United States of America leads us into the greatest, most tragic collapse of democracy in the history of man, or are the American people going to come together and lift it up and protect us and hold him and the Republican Party accountable?
And Andrew, we've got less than 30 seconds left, but as much as people focused in on the see you in court and the back and forth, as Jennifer highlighted, to me, we are the federal law statement from President Trump was the most alarming thing out of that exchange.
Yeah, I think this is someone who's desperate to show that he's in charge. I don't know if he has the energy to do this job, but maybe that's why he's basically letting Elon Musk be the acting president. But I think you see him lashing out. You see him trying to take as much power unto himself as he possibly can. He's even letting the richest person in the world rummage through our Social Security information, our IRS data. So I don't know if he feels secure about his role in this government or not, but it's obvious that a lot of Americans are getting more and more concerned, especially when you see the backlash at these constituent town halls.
You know, under any other circumstance, what Elon Musk is doing would be considered hacking. You know, getting people's information and rifling through bank accounts. That's a whole other discussion. Andrew Bates, Jennifer Horn, thank you both very much for coming to the Saturday show.